Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Marvel Champion card game hero pack unboxing. This is for Spider, or Spider. I'm not really sure exactly how you want. It's probably just pronounced Spider. This is a mechanical suit. This run by Penny Parker. So this is one of the alternate verse Spider-Man. If you watch the cartoon Into the Spider-Verse, you got to see this one. Which actually means I'm thinking about it. The only one we don't have then, because we have Spider-Ham was also released alongside this. And then the Sinister Motives, we have Miles Morales and Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen. So Spider-Man Noir would have been the only main one of that set we didn't get. So that'd be kind of cool if we got an extra one of them. It might not happen for a while. But yeah, we're going to hop in and see what is definitely in here. There's some really fun stuff. So, of course, we're going to get our poster. There's a little kitty on there of the mech-suited spider person. So we have some new keywords in here. So we have, I'm going to start right down to the bottom here, is we have patrol. When any minion with the patrol keyword is engaged with a player, that player cannot thwart the main scheme. Permanent, a card with a permanent keyword cannot leave play. And steady, a character's steady keyword can have one additional stunned status card and one additional confused. That character is not stunned unless they have 2 stuns, and is not confused unless they have 2 confused. After character's activation is replaced by a status effect, remove all status cards from that character. Basically makes them a little more. Then the other new one is the separated identity cards. So Spider Suit has a unique mechanic where each of her identities is split between 2 cards. So one represents the human pilot, Penny Parker, while the other represents the robotic Spider Suit. So we'll look at that. I'm not going to go through and read all that right now, because we'll just look at the cards and explain it from there. So we have, to start off, we have our Spider Suit as our hero. So Spider Suit has 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. Active, has the Web Warrior trait. Web Warriors are very important with this. They're kind of a Spider-Verse thing. They're very powerful when teamed up with other Web Warrior characters and cards. But the Web Warrior trait, not necessarily the character itself, but the Web Warrior trait is better with other things with Web Warrior. But by itself, it's not as strong. So if you team this deck up with Spider-Ham or Spider-Man, Miles Morales, or Ghost Spider, they have some really good connectivity with their Web Warrior abilities. But if you just play one by themselves, you're not going to get that Web Warrior effect as often, which we'll see when we get into those cards. She has sync ratio, resource, exhaust, and interface upgrade you control. Generate that upgrade resource. This is how you produce your energy. We are called Spider, and we protect the city. So hand size is 3, hit points 14. So that's kind of crazy. Really low hand size, except what she does is she works along with her ally. So if we flip this over, on the other side we have support version, which is an inactive and text. Permanent. This card's printed text box cannot be treated as if it were blank. Return to base. Force interrupt. When you flip to this side, flip Spider to Penny Parker. Flip Spider to Penny Parker. Detach Penny Parker from here, moving all counters on her and attach cards. And attach cards to her to this card. Detach Penny Parker from here, moving all counters on her and attach cards to her to this card. So basically you remove them. So while you are in Spider mode, so suit mode, you have Spider, which is an upgrade for your cards. So this upgrades your Spider Suit. It says interface and pilot. So permanent. This card's printed text box cannot be treated as if it were blank. Suit up. Force interrupt. When you flip to the side, flip Spider Suit to its active side. Attach this card to Spider Suit, moving all counters on this card, or cards attached to this card to Spider Suit. So if anything's on one, it's on both, essentially what it's saying. So what's neat then is you will have both of these in play at the same time. So you'll be running the Spider Suit, which will have your stats. You'll have an upgrade on there at the same time. And then what happens is you can actually exhaust your interface, you can exhaust your pilot, to give you a wild resource every turn. Then, if you flip over either one of these for whatever reason, so if you want to flip over your hero to its other side, which means you're essentially now flipping your alter ego, so you flip them both at the same time. So now Spider Suit becomes a support card that just sits around, and Penny Parker has 4 recovery, is a civilian, has psychogenic compatibility. Setup, put Spider Suit into play in active side face up, and then maintenance, alter ego action, exhaust your Spider Suit to draw 2 cards. So you can kind of refuel your hand. Now, it has 14 hit points in both forms. So if we look at her civilian versus her hero, she has 14 hit points, but she has no hand size on the other cards. So if you're on your other side, so either she has 3 cards when she's in her Spider Suit, or 4 when she's in her civilian. So she gets not a lot of cards, but that's why she gets to draw cards by exhausting her Spider Suit. She can play a couple and then draw some more. So it's a very neat mechanic where it flips back and forth. I like when they started playing with this, I kind of did that with the Giant Man and Wasp, Ant-Man whole thing. But yeah, this kind of makes it a neat little idea. Now let's look at some of her cards. She got a signature ally. She has a Venom, the hashtag in there. Addie Brock. 4-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 health. When Venom gets +1 thwart, +1 attack for each sim counter on her. Hero response. After Venom enters play, place 1 sim counter on her for each resource generated by Spider Suit's sync ratio ability to pay for her. So she costs 4, but every time you pay for her using Spider's ability, she gains extra attack. So the exhausting interface. So you start with only Penny Parker's Spider as interface, but you play more interfaces, and then you tap that. You spend them to gain resources. You can actually pay for Venom with all 4 of them, which would make him a 5/5 attacker, which is actually really powerful. So kind of more you save up, better she gets. We have 3 copies of All Systems Go, a 1-cost event. Hero action, choose, ready each interface upgrade you control, and search your deck for a discard pile for an interface upgrade and add it to your hand. She'll let you find them upgrades and then use them. Plus with Spider Suit, you just have to exhaust the interface to use it. You don't actually have to exhaust this. You could, if you had 4 of them, spend all 4, play Venom, then you could use this card if you had 1 extra sitting around. To then ready each one, and now you have another 4 to play. So she can play all her cards very quickly if you time them right. We have 2 copies of Rapid Development, 2-cost event with Thwart. Hero action, remove 3 threat from his Steam. If you paid for this card using the resources generated by Spider Suit's sync ratio, remove 3 threat from his Steam. So again, this is kind of a neat idea. If you build up that power, if you remove 2, or you spend it, using that sync, you actually get the ability twice. We protect this city no matter what. We got 2 copies of Web Trap. 2-cost event, attack, deal 5 damage to an enemy if you're paid for this card using the resource generated by sync ratio, stun the enemy. May want Spider to be better, to be the best we could. That's why she developed these web traps. So that's kind of fun. So if you need, if you 5 enemy energy is not going to be enough, or 5 damage, pay for it using the cost and you can stun them. We get a support persona in Aunt May and Uncle Ben. 1-cost support card action. Exhaust Aunt May and Uncle Ben and discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Top 3 instead if you are in your alter ego form. Add each Spider card discarded this way to your hand. It's a good way to refill your hand. 1 copy of Ejection Protocol, 0-cost support, a tactic. Hero action. Discard Ejection Protocol to exhaust each interface upgrade you control. Set your hit point dial to 6 and give your identity a tough status card and flip to alter ego form. Warning, incoming threat. Yeah, so if you're about to die, this is a great way to like flip your alter ego, heal back up to 6. Just kind of gives you a good reset emergency thing. Well, she has 14 hit points to begin with, so that's not bad. We have 1 copy of Spider Command, a 1 cost support location. Hero Action, exhaust Spider Command, and an interface upgrade to draw 1 card. And then Hero Action, exhaust Spider Command, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. Ready an interface upgrade, so you can depend on which way you need to do that. Do you need to draw a card, then exhaust an interface? Do you need to write an interface for its ability, then discard a card? And it goes use Spider Sync Ratio to then exhaust that interface again to gain the extra energy. Now let's look at our interface cards. We got a couple of them. Host Spider, a 3 cost upgrade. Interface Spider, Hero Action, exhaust Host Spider to ready the Spider Suit. So now, if you exhaust them use Sync Ratio, you can't exhaust them for their own abilities. So you kind of got to decide, do you need your resource to play something, or do you need to get this ability out? We have a 2 cost upgrade, Psychic Link, Interface Tech, Hero Interrupt when Spider Suit makes a basic thwart, exhaust Psychic Link to gain +2 thwart for that thwart. Can we listen to music? It helps me focus. Yeah, so it's a fun, different way. Extra thwart, it's always nice. Especially since she starts with 2, so it gives her 4. Speed Metal Ally, 1 cost upgrade, interface tech, Hero Interrupt. When Spider Suit defends against an attack, exhaust Speed Metal Ally, it gets +2 defense. I thought you said this was a suit. This is a Speed Metal. Yeah, that's fun too. So you get extra defense, and then of course we're going to get 1 for attack. Web Fluid Compressor, 2 cost upgrade, interface tech. When Spider Suit makes a basic attack, exhaust Web Fluid Compressor, it gets +2 for that attack. Progress takes patience, that's why we have to keep working on it. So if you got all 3 of these interfaces out, well, you can only attack, thwart, or defend once per turn, because you have to exhaust your character to do that. But you can do it and gain a bonus from each one of these. But you can still use your Sync Ratio to then gain the 2 extra resource from playing the other 2. So that's actually kind of nice, depending on what you do. But you also have the 4th one. If you get that, you can exhaust it to ready it. So if you have all 4 of these out, you can get, with your ability, you can get +2 to each one. So you can either do 4 thwart, 4 attack, or 4 defend. Then exhaust it to gain, be able to do the second one, and you'd still end up having 2 of your cards open to exhaust using Sync Ratio for paying for other cards. So essentially that means you could get almost 3 attacks off of with just those couple of cards. That's really cool. But it does require you finding them cards and getting them out. Alright, so we have Protection. So we have Daredevil. Now, you notice this doesn't say Matt Murdock or who it is. It's just listed as Daredevil. This is Daredevil of Penny Parker's world. 2 cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 defense, or 1 attack, 3 health. Response. After Daredevil defends against an attack, move 1 damage from him to the attacking enemy. So great, he defends. If he doesn't die, you can keep splashing that damage back. Quiet breaks, shatters down, so the city reaches out, listening, waiting, another station for a signal, and we're all some kind of noise. Be the good kind, Penny. And then we get Spider-Man Noir. 3 cost ally, X thwart, X attack, 3 health, is a web warrior. X is equal to the number of face-down cards attached to Spider-Man Noir. Response. After resolve a treachery, if you control another web warrior card, attach that treachery face down here to a maximum of 3. So you can get up to 3 attack and 3 thwarts. That's actually really cool. But again, this is where I was saying at the beginning of the video, we're having lots of web warrior cards and stuff. They work together very well. But if you don't put other web warriors in here, so like right now, If you control another Web Warrior, which you do, which would be your main character, great. But if you stick to Spider-Man Noir in any other deck, someone that's not a Web Warrior, he's completely useless. We have 3 copies of Repurpose, a 0-cost event skill. Hero action. Discard a tech upgrade you control. Ready your hero and choose thwart, attack, or defense. Until the end of the next round, to the end of the round, your hero gets plus X to the chosen power. X is equal to that printed cost. Now, your tech upgrades are going to be your 3 interfaces. Now they're only going to get +2s. You get +2 just by exhausting them, and then using them that way. It says this is discard and upgrade you control to ready your hero and do it. So basically with that is you could, if you had all your upgrades out, you could thwart one time, gain your +2 to thwart for 4, then unexhaust your character, attack for 1, discard one of the other ones to gain a boost. You can actually gain +4 for one of the other ones. Ready your hero, discard one of the other ones. You probably even thwart, discard your thwart to ready it, then discard your attack to ready your character. You could keep doing this over and over. You could basically discard all 3 of them and gain 3 different attacks at +6. So that could be really crazy if you really need to, like, if there's, it would wipe out your entire deck, it would wipe out all your turns, but having that extra stuff might win you the game. So it's actually kind of a fun combo. We have 3 copies of Thwip. This is Spider-Man makes me shoots webbing. 2-cost event. Superpower. Hero action. Deal 1 damage to a Web Warrior character you control. Place a total of 2 stun status cards on up to 2 enemies. You now have the entire afternoon to reconsider your life choices. You're welcome. So again, another thing that requires a Web Warrior card. But again, your main character's Web Warrior, great. But this could also be mixed in with other characters. So if you just had this and Spider-Man Noir with, this protection deck mixed in with, like, Iron Man, you could still at least deal damage to Spider-Man Noir to use this ability. We have 3 copies of Energy Barrier, 2-cost upgrade item tech. So here's another tech item we could get rid of. Uses 3 reflection counters. Interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter from here. Prevent 1 of that damage and deal 1 damage to the enemy. So now this is a great card to use that repurpose for, because after you've used all 3 counters, this is just going to sit there unless you have some way of putting counters back on. Instead, repurpose your Energy Barrier to discard it so you can reuse it again later. The same thing with this one. We have 3 copies of Force Field Generator, 3-cost upgrade. Tech uses 6 energy counters, max 1 per player. Force Interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, remove that many energy counters from here. For each energy counter removed this way, prevent 1 of that damage. Definitely fun. And then our last one is 3 copies of 1-cost upgrade Spider Tingle Superpower. When you would reveal an encounter card, deal 1 damage to a Web Warrior character you control. If that card is a treachery, cancel its when revealed effect and discard Spider Tingle. Yes, it's kind of neat to be like going through like the Spider-Ham set that came with, released at the same time as this one. None of his aspect cards mentioned Web Warrior other than the allies. This one has a couple that do it, so it lets you kind of flex this into other Web Warrior characters very easily. Also, this has 2 cards that have counters on them, and Spider-Ham's Nemesis removes all counters if he attaches to that player. So it's kind of neat, because it could affect either one of these characters if you're playing them at the same time. Alright, let's look at our basic cards. So speaking of Spider-Ham, we have Spider-Ham, Peter Parker, 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, cartoon, and Web Warrior. So you get another Web Warrior to hit things with. Play only if you control a Web Warrior card. Force response. After Spider-Ham attacks or thwarts, discard the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon, discard this way to deal 1 damage to Spider-Ham. Interesting. So you just discard cards from the top of the deck. Doesn't really play on any of his abilities like in his regular card, but still cool. Also interesting to note that the basic Web Warrior cards require Web Warriors to play them. The Aspect ones don't. Here we have another Spider-Man. We have Otto Octavius. So when Doc Ock took over Spider-Man's body, 2-cost ally, 2 health, 1 thwart, 2 attack, Web Warrior, playing like you control a Web Warrior. Response. After you play Spider-Man from your hand, ready an upgrade you control. If that upgrade has tech trait, draw 1 card. Nice. So you can ready a bunch of your upgrades and draw some more cards. It works really well in this deck. Then we have 2 really fun and interesting cards. We have 3 copies of Limitless Stamina, 1 cost event, Superpower. Play only if your Gengi has at least 14 printed hit points. Hero action, ready your hero. Pay 1 to just ready your hero. What, you think this fight is almost over? That was just a warm-up practice, Thor. Then, as a counter to that, we have 3 copies of Unshakable, a 1-cost upgrade. Condition, Superpower, play only for Gengi has at least 14 printed hit points. Your Gengi gains Steady, requires 2 status cards of the same type. So, I'm not sure. I'm going to pause the video for a sec. I'm going to look up to see what characters can actually use these cards. One moment. Alright, so just get a quick look at all the old cards. So the 5 characters that can use this card, besides Spider with 14 hit points, of course, are Thor. We don't have Lady Thor or Female Thor yet. Jane Foster, we have Odinson Thor, but he can. Of course, we have the Hulk. We also have She-Hulk. So those 3 kind of make sense. Then the other 2 are Drax, who has, I think, exactly 14. And then the final one would be, in the upcoming X-Men set, would be Colossus. So all your big, strong characters. There are a couple other characters that hit like 11 or 12. But yeah, so it's actually not bad. It's kind of neat. A card that just have very conditional effects that gain you bonuses, but can only be used with certain characters. It revolves on something besides one of the traits. Alright, so then let's look at our obligation. We have Inherited Burden. Give to the Penny Parker player. You may flip over the alter ego form. Choose to exhaust Penny Parker, remove Inherited Burden from the game, or choose and discard 1 interface upgrade you control and discard obligation. So, fairly simple. Either lose a turn or potentially discard a card. But if you don't have an upgrade, then you don't have a choice. So you got a little options there. Then we have our Nemesis. We have Giant Monster Attack. Morbius is laying siege on the city, wreaking havoc and siphoning energy from the power grid. As an additional cost to thwart this steam, you must spend an energy resource. And it has Crisis. So we have Morbius, which is a giant kaiju, which makes sense for a Japanese mech suit themed character. So 2 steam, 2 attack, 6 health, and a creature. Force response. After the engaged hero generates any number of resources, deal an equal amount of damage to that hero. And then this is a threat unlike any you face. So kind of like where Spider-Ham's Green Gobbler had to discard tokens, and that really messed with Spider-Ham, but could also mess with some of the cards in Spider's Hero's deck. This one's kind of the same way, because Spider-Ham does a lot of generating. So yeah, if he attacks as a Spider-Ham, they can kind of affect this. It's kind of a neat synergy between these 2 characters, even if it's unintentional. Then we have 3 copies of Energy Drain, which is a Treachery card. When revealed, Alter Ego. Choose to either spend 2 energy resources or exhaust your identity. And when revealed as a hero, choose to spend either 2 or take 3 damage. Interesting. Alright. Then we have our checklist, just in case you wanted to catch up on anything I might have missed or went over too quickly. Alright, then the final part of the deck. So, they started doing was always releasing 3 copies of a card for each different aspect not included in the deck. So this would have been leadership, leadership, justice, and aggression, and then a basic. And then now what they started doing is they give us usually about maybe 1, maybe none, depending on how many cards they have. Instead, we get an extra encounter, which is really fun, because then we get different characters and encounters that wouldn't maybe work or fit into the theme of the overall deck. Plus, it also helps that way if you only bought the base set and now you picked up one of these other characters, you're already getting bonus cards from that character that you didn't have with your previous characters. And then you're also getting more encounters to add to that. So it helps you to be able to just sit down. You could pick up one of the base games, or one of the base game, and then maybe like one campaign, or pick up some of these extra heroes. You can get some bonuses without only having to buy the additional big box sets. But here's our leadership. We have 3 copies of this. Clarity of Purpose, 1 cost upgrade condition. Attached to a friendly character, max 1 per character. Hero Resource. Exhaust this card to deal 1 damage to attached character to generate a wild resource. Yeah, that's actually pretty fun. Just be able to attach it and gain extra resource if you need to, especially if they have some health, or maybe if they have an ability that works with them being discarded. And you're exhausting this card, not the character. So you can exhaust this to generate that resource, and you can still then attack with them. Which is really fun. I like it. Because you're exhausting and dealing damage to a character, not attaching it to them and exhausting them. Also kind of works with Spider-Ham's basic card Spider, because it had an ability that says if it dies using its ability, you put it back into your hand. So, and I think it had 4 health, so you could do this twice and then do one of its other abilities, and its consequential damage you take out, and you can return it. So you can also use it as a good way to generate 2 extra resources. So that's definitely fun. Alright, then our encounter is Iron Spider Sinister 6. So you have Grand Larceny. The Iron Spider Sinister 6 are on the crime spree, robbing every business they come across. Threat to not be removed from this scheme while a criminal minion is in play. This would be fun because there's so many criminals. You could just combine this in there to make them games a little bit more harder. We have Bombshell. 2 steam, 3 attack, 4 health, criminal. Divide damage from Bombshell's attack among each character the attack player controls as evenly as possible. Boost, deal 1 indirect damage to each player. Exhaust each character damage this way. We have a female Electro. 1 steam, 2 attack with 3 health. Electro gets 1 hit point for each energy resource attached to her. Force, after Electro engages you or activates against you, choose 1 card from your hand with a printed energy resource and attach it to her. So yeah, so her fighting Captain Marvel would kind of suck as well. Hobgoblin, 2 steam, 2 attack, 5 health. Force interrupt. When Hobgoblin would attack you, discard card from the top of the encounter deck equal to Hobgoblin's attack. Take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discarded this way. Iron Spider, 2 steam, 2 attack, 6 health, criminal and elite. Guard, patrol, retaliate 1, and toughness. And his attack gains overkill. Don't make me whoop you. Oh, this guy's a beef stick. We have Sandman. 1 steam, 1 attack, 7 health. Force response after Sandman takes any amount of damage from an attack. Discard the top 7 cards of the encounter deck. Boost, discard the top 7 cards of the encounter deck. Oh, 7 cards is a lot. And then Spot. 1 steam, 1 attack, 4 health. When defeated, if Spot was defeated without excess damage, shuffle him into the encounter deck. Boost, put this minion into play, engage with you. Yeah, so you have to take him out extra hard. And then we have an environment, which I love environments. Surge and Crime, which has Surge, and it says each criminal minion gains Surge, and hero action if there are no criminal minions in play. Spend 2 resources of any type to discard this card. That is freaking nasty. So you play it. Then you have to draw another card right away to deal with it anyhow. Then every criminal you play is going to make you play another card. And then if you somehow defeat all the criminals in play, you can still have to pay to discard this. It's not just when there's no criminals. Then when you combine that with the fact of grand larceny, which you can't even defeat unless you have a criminal, and you have to focus on this because it has crisis, that's going to make it real hard. Only weird thing is they show Bombshell on here, but they don't show her, and I'm not sure who she is off the top of my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's also 7, Sinister 6, and there's 7 villains. 6 villains, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6. Yeah, a lot of criminals. This got some very good effects. Plus, I think combined with the campaign set, Sinister Motives, there's the other Sinister 6. Lots of them were criminal. Not the main bad guys, but the side encounters, I believe. Lots of them were criminals. Plus, there's other cards that involve criminals. So you throw this in with that deck. So if you play Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider, Miles Morales Spider-Man, Spider-Ham, and Robot Spider together in the campaign, and you add the Inheritors from Spider-Ham, and you add this one into the main set, you could have some very crazy stuff with boosting up criminals, boosting up Spider, Web Warrior cards. It would be very interesting to play. Alright, so that's what we have. Yeah, Spider is very fun. Interesting, like both her and Spider-Ham have to create, and Noble before that, all have to create their own resources. It's kind of an interesting like little theme they hit on, which luckily they go away with when the next sets come out in the X-Men. They kind of go with their own things, so luckily they didn't keep trying to do this over and over. But that's definitely a neat mechanic to play as. Web Warriors add some interesting things. I like the upgrade cards in here. Lots of extra upgrade cards, which are really nice. Yeah, so that would be Spider. Alright, so see you guys in the next video. Bye.